Look! Look, the dynamic duo! I got
Welcome to the Dynamic Duo. I'm Franz.
Well, I'm Kevin. Welcome to the new Batcave in Avengers Tower, everyone.
That's awesome. So, Kevin, we've been having this fascinating conversation, and every time I think we're done, I think of other movies that we need to talk about that I really want to talk about. And so the conversation continues. We're basically reviewing the previous movies that have come out and giving our opinions, brief opinions of them. And then hopefully we'll soon get to the upcoming stuff that's coming out so that we can be a little bit current. So so what is the movie that you would like to talk about next?
Honestly, and this is way off the given path that we've started, but Black Panther.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That fits. That absolutely fits. What was your thought of Black Panther?
I thought the movie was pretty much perfect. There were a couple of scenes that I thought were a little long to a certain extent, but that's small and that's me nitpicking. Chadwick Boseman, I don't think they could have gotten a better actor. I truly don't. The supporting cast was fantastic. And what they ended up doing with both the writing of the script and Ryan Coogler's directing, I really don't think it could have been any better. The big thing that I had been worried about from day one was actually getting Black Panther's costume correct.
Yes.
And it was straight off of the pages. There's no other way to put it. It was right out of the pages of the book.
Yes, yes. I couldn't agree with you more. And it's a funny thing because sometimes, depending on the show that someone is listening to, they might think we're just kind of like Debbie Downers who hate everything that we see and you know, criticizing everything. But that's not the case at all. In fact, we have rated several of the movies 10 out of 5, 5 out of 5, and more. So I think what we do is we reserve our right to critique when we either disagree or dislike. And what's even cooler is that sometimes you and I disagree. Like you may love a movie and I hate it, and vice versa. And that's perfectly fine too. In this particular case, listen, I couldn't agree with you more. Black Panther was an awesome movie. It was an exciting movie. It was a superhero movie. Again, the things that are important for me is respect for the genre, respect for the character, and respect for the fans. Those are the three things that are important to me. And so respect for the genre, it was a superhero movie. We didn't get an apology costume, you know, armored up, you know, jacket, leather. We got a Black Panther costume. Modernized, yes, but appropriately so, without deterring from the character's original design. We got a Black Panther movie. Not only was it a superhero movie, but it was a Black Panther movie, which drew from both the comics and current events. It was a brilliant, brilliant delivery. Killmonger is from the comic books, and that subtext of what they were able to do with Michael B. Jordan was just fascinating and cool and powerful. And it gave voice, interestingly enough, to that point of view, and which was needed to be told. And respect for the fans, you know what? Again, respect for the character, respect for the genre means respect for the fans. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that movie, yes.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about how they portrayed Claw? He was the one thing that I wish there had been a little bit more of.
That's why I love talking to you. I really love talking to you because every time I'll say something and then you'll say something that reminds me, wait a second, you missed this point. Claw is an interesting, but now, so for me, listen, I'm a comic purist, right? And I would want it to be as close to the comics as possible. I want Claw to look like Claw and to be Claw. Now, having said that, the limitation of the Black Panther movie was that they were doing a Claw that had already been created in the Avengers movies. So they were that limitation. And something else too, it was a pre-Claw Claw. So we don't know what the future holds. And he may eventually turn out to be the sound being that he actually is in the comic book. So I didn't have a problem with that.
What are your thoughts on the continuation and follow-up since Chadwick has left us?
First of all, what horribly sad news that such a brilliant, young, and powerful actor passed away. And my condolences. Seriously, there are some special people on this planet, and we can say that he was one of those people. There is a power. Acting is a fascinating thing. It's beyond your ability to deliver a line. It's beyond your ability to pretend that the world is real. There's an energy, there's a connection that's created that is a gift. And he had it. Like, he had it in spades. Like, you know, looking at him, I didn't think Black Panther, to be honest with you. But it's like Robert Downey Jr. Once he became Black Panther, I can't visualize anybody else as other than Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. So terrible, terrible news for his passing. Now, this is a similar case to me as with the Batwoman situation. Like, there are certain cases where I don't like when they make unnecessary changes to change a character for inclusivity. I'm all for inclusivity, as you and I have talked about, but I don't think the approach is to dismiss a character to replace him or her, or replace him for her. But as with the case with Batwoman, there's no other option here for Black Panther. And there's no other option because Chadwick Boseman passed away and Ruby Rose left the show. And so now we need to either cancel it completely, come up with another actor to play the Black Panther and pretend that Chadwick Boseman was not never there, but, you know, another actor, and or move in another direction, which makes sense on many, many levels. It makes sense because there's a historical precedence in the comic book of Shuri becoming the Black Panther. It makes sense in the sense that with the movie sets it up that way, the family bond, it makes sense for her to be the heir to the Black Panther. So it makes sense in every way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Can it be done? I really think it can. I think you can just deliver it and deliver the action appropriately and come up with a good story. And the key would then be to deliver it the right way, to make it a good movie as opposed to not. So yeah, I'd be all for that, for them to go in that direction. Well, what's your thought?
Actually, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't know if you saw it, but the young lady that plays Shuri gave an interview a couple of days ago. I believe it was for Empire magazine from Great Britain, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that it was from a magazine overseas.
Okay.
She basically is trying to come to grips with being made the Black Panther because this is exactly what Marvel wants. But part of her, I don't want to call it a contingency because that's not really the right word, right way of putting it. Part of what she wants to have them do is, and they kind of set that up in Endgame, is to do the all-female superhero Avengers-based movie. And I think if they actually were to transition Black Panther 2 with her in the lead in there, and if they cast the right actresses to take the rest of the roles, or if they continue with some of the same people they have, by the time they get to what essentially might be either another Avengers movie flat out or Black Panther 3, I believe they could nail it to the wall.
I think so.
Yeah.
Again, to me, it comes down to delivery. You know, it comes down to delivery. And I think that the right director, the right writer, certainly I think she's good enough to be she you know, it's already been proven, right? She's already been in the movies, so she proves her chops, her acting chops. And she's already been an action star within the movie. So yeah, if you deliver it right, it could work. And it could actually be very powerful.
Yes.
If you use that as a tribute to Chadwick Boseman's passing as a Black Panther passing. I think they should tie the both together and really make it a powerful loss. And that, you know, we could even move on to this next movie, but I have to tell you, one of the most goosebumps moments in my comic book viewing life is seeing the Black Panther for the first time in Captain America: Civil War.
Yep.
That drew such chills from me. It's hard to describe. It's the same feeling that I had when I first saw Jim Brown in a Western, you know, back in the day.
Yes.
And it's the same feeling that I had when I saw Luke Cage for the first time in a comic book. And it was a very powerful thing. So I think we should continue that trend. And it would be powerful for her to be such a role model for young women, for young Black women to see themselves as a superhero, you know, because that's the one thing we haven't gotten yet is the young Black woman lead. You know, we have women lead, we have Black leads, we don't have a Black woman lead. And so that would be a powerful thing, I think, for people to experience.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Hey, look! It's Spider-Man!
The dynamic duo return next week. Don't miss it.